Good morning. Today is March 9th, 2022, and you are listening to WRDW the Q. I'm Hannah Todd with Robbie D. Wood, and today I'm joined by the company's founder, Robbie D. Wood. Thank you for joining me today. I'm looking forward to today's episode.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to get back in this old office.
Yeah.
It's been a many a day here.
I know I referred to it as the conference room, but I should have referred to it as your office. Okay, well, happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you.
Yesterday, Mr. Robbie Wood turned 89 years old. When you introduce yourself, do you introduce yourself as Robbie Wood, Robbie Sr., Robbie D. Wood?
Just Robbie D. Wood.
Robbie D. Wood, okay.
Retired truck driver.
Retired truck driver, that's right. Well, since you bring that up, give us a little information about yourself and how you got into trucking.
Well, my father was in the lumber business, manufacturing, and had some trucks. And at a very early age, I just fell in love with trucks. Mm-hmm. And I learned to drive with a truck. And my first set of wheels was a truck.
Can you tell us when you learned to drive?
At about 13.
Okay. And I'm obviously, how many gears were in the truck?
I had a 3-speed transmission with a 2-speed auxiliary.
Okay. And then when did you buy your first big truck?
Well, I had a truck in 1948.
Okay.
I bought my first new truck.
Now, should I ask you how old you were in 1948?
I was 15.
And that was your first new truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Boy, you had some good credit at 15.
Well, I had an old truck and it worked and saved up enough money to make my down payment on it. And I had quite a bit of work to do, so I just started trucking.
That's awesome. All right, well, it'd be very easy to make this whole episode about yesteryear or the days past, and that would be very good, but I think it'd be great for us to be able to... Here, let me help you with your headphones.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think it'd be good for us to tie it into what the company has become and, you know, what you see as far as what it used to be, what it is, and what it's going to be in the future. So I got a couple of questions for you, and that way it'll also engage our drivers. You've always been a stickler for appearance, as you know, if you're not watching the episode, he's currently sitting here in his blazer and his beautiful watch, and he just came from his Bible study. So Robbie D. Wood has always looked nice, and you've always had nice equipment. From the paint job on our trucks to the cleanliness inside the truck, I've heard stories of how you pulled drivers out to the shop to make them clean up their tractors. I've also heard about how you'll knock on the truck on the road to make sure that the driver looks nice and the inside of the truck looks nice.
Well, appearance means a lot. Mm-hmm. It goes back and tells you the story of the company and what it means and what it stands for. And cleanliness is next to godliness.
There you go. Well, what do you think about what do you think when you see our trucks driving down the road today?
Well, we had them all the same color, and everybody knew them. Mm-hmm. You could, as far as you could see coming down the road, you could tell who it was. It was a company truck. Then we got away from that into solid colored trucks, and they were difficult to identify then. Now then we've gone back to some of the same
Seminole
color
paint job.
And they're very knowledgeable or colorful, and you can see them. And I've gotten a lot of compliments since we've got those on the trucks.
Well, as far as appearance and attitude goes, what do you think about as far as our drivers when you see them on the road or in the truck stop or what have you?
Well, I'm not that much on the road, but when I see one of the trucks, they're always clean. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, I had to go to my family doctor, and he said he was in vacation in Pensacola, Florida, and said, saw this truck and had my name on it, and said, I really looked it over and said it was clean, said it looked like it would be clean enough to go into an operating room. So, so that made me feel real good.
That is a good compliment. And we have a lot of trucks that come through Pensacola. It'd be easy to say that it was a Mobile truck, but it could have been a TCI truck or a roll-off truck, or shoot, it could have even been a truck from another terminal out of state, because we got a lot that go through there. So I understand that in addition to appearance, you created the company with a certain set of values. What are those values, and do you think that we have held on to some of them?
We certainly have. In fact, the values are better now than they would have was when I retired. It's it's a blessing to have somebody that you love and turn things over to that does it better than you do. That's what all fathers are supposed to think, or I do, that you want your sons and your children to do better than you. And that's happened in this case, After I retired, it has really grown, and I'm very, very proud of my son and my grandchildren for what they've done for the company.
Well, talking about growth and change, I know that we've changed quite a bit over the past few years, but really the whole company has continued to grow throughout its life cycle. What are you most proud of as far as those changes, and what is something that you didn't expect to see?
Well, what I didn't expect to see as much technology.
Okay.
It just blows my mind, the technology we have now, and going with all of the paper. We used to, have to bill everybody, a lot of paperwork, and now then it's just.
Oops, sorry, go ahead.
It's just the technology is just beyond me now at my age. Technology outgrew me.
Well, you still use social media quite a bit.
Well, I try to, but.
Well, what is one of the things as far as changes goes that you're most proud of that the company you feel like has done well?
Well, it's safety record and the employees. We have always tried to hire the best employees we could and give them a job to do and let them do it. And we've been very successful in that.
What year did you retire?
I think it was 1969 or 70.
No, that's when did you retire?
Oh.
Not when did you incorporate?
That's when I retired.
69 or 70? Really? I did not know that.
I've been retired 20 years.
Okay, well this is 2022. You mean 99?
Yeah.
Okay. And then,
I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. All right, so you've been retired about 20 years.
I was talking about my age when I retired.
Oh, your age. I'm sorry. I was thinking 1969 or 1970.
No.
I apologize.
Okay.
That's my fault. Okay, so you've been retired about 20 years. What made you decide that it was time to retire?
Well, it wasn't really my decision. I was sitting in my this office one day, and Robbie Jr. and Stan came in.
Okay.
Said they had something they wanted to talk to me about. They said they'd decided it was time for me to retire.
What was your response to that?
It wasn't very well. I didn't take it very well. I got upset and said a few things, and I shouldn't have had. And they said, whoa, back off. Said, you're misunderstanding me. I said, well, it's not misunderstanding you when you tell me I've got to retire. And they said, no. Listen to us. You've taken care of us for 40 years. Now it's our time to take care of you. We want you to go out and enjoy the rest of your life and go and do as you want to. And you've earned it and you deserve it. So I thought about it, and about a month later I retired.
Okay. And you went out in style, I hear.
Yeah. Well, I tried to.
There you go. Well, all right, last question. What advice do you have for our current fleet of truck drivers?
What advice I have for the fleet is just continue what they're doing and do it better and sincerely.
I like that. Do you have any personal stories that you want to share about a driver that impacted your life or anything like that before we go?
Well, I have several drivers that I'm very fond of. At one time, when we first started, most of our drivers was from Blount County.
Okay.
And they were very, very good and hard-working individuals. I have one guy that calls me every Father's Day. He calls me Papa Wood.
Wow.
And he weighs about 450 pounds, wears a 21 shoe, and he's retired now, but used to, on Father's Day, he'd call me collect from where he was at. He wished me a happy Father's Day and on Christmas. And his name was Heavy Traffic.
Right.
You've probably heard of him.
I have.
But then there were so many that I can't name them all, that was just so dedicated. And then, like, Robbie Jr. drove for a long time. And he had the respect of the drivers. He's been out there on the road with them. He knows what they're up against and the ins and outs that they have to deal with every day. So I think that's one of the reasons that the drivers have so much respect for him, and he's been successful in running the company.
Right, I agree. And I'm seeing, just in the 5 years that I've been here, other truck drivers transition in to the office who've been incredibly successful as far as getting the respect of other drivers on the road, like Richard Long in Mobile, Scott Haynes here locally. Some of our best operations people are, like you said, retired truck drivers. So, is there anything else you want to add today?
No, that's it. Just like you say, that's all I've ever done. I've never done anything except trucking.
Yeah.
And I love it, and passed it on, and I hope it continues.
Well, on behalf of the entire company, I'd like to tell you thank you for taking a chance all those years ago and sticking with what you loved and all that it has prospered into. My family appreciates it, and I know many other families do as well.
Well, I would like to compliment you.
Oh, yeah?
Because you do an excellent job on this podcast and other items that you have to do. And I appreciate you, and you're certainly a big asset to this company.
Well,
so thank you.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. I appreciate it. I will say that this is the end of the episode for today. So next week I'll be joined by Claire Russell, and Claire is our recruiter and social media strategist. Many of you may not know who you are, so you'll get to meet her next week, and we'll also be talking a lot about what we're doing for retention, how we're listening every week to what you're saying on work count, and some of those things that we're going to be working on this year to help make you happy and safe on the road. If you have anything that you'd like for us to cover next week, please send me an email, hannah@robbiedwood.com, or drop me a message using the WorkCount link over the weekend. Thanks, and have a great day.